Hey there, high school sports fans. Welcome back to WNY High School Sportsline. I am Frank Wolf from WNYathletics.com, and today is Tuesday, May 12th, and I hope you're having a good week. The sun was out today. We had the flybys today for all the thanks to all those healthcare workers that are doing their best fighting on the front line, this horrible pandemic, coronavirus that's cost us so much time and heartache and everything else that goes along with it. So it was nice to kind of see the sun and sky today. That flyover was just something that hopefully brought a smile to your face today, as it did mine. So thank you again to all those people out there on the front lines. A release came today from the New York State Public High Schools. You may have read this on Twitter, but the task force committee has been put together. Our representative is Adam Stoltman. He's going to do a great job. Adam from Alden. He was actually on the show with it just a few weeks ago. So you may remember him. The task force chairman is Paul Harika out of Section 10. So keep your eyes on New York State Public High School's Twitter account for developments, whatever they have in terms of putting whatever decisions they make. We'll make sure that we report on them as well, because just because we don't have games doesn't mean we don't have high school sports news. So we're going to bring that to you as quickly as we get it. The quote that really stood out to me, and I shared this on Twitter, was from Dr. Robert Zayas, the director of New York State Public High Schools Athletic Association Executive Director. His quote was, "At this time, we are planning to start the fall sports season on August 24th, quote unquote." So that's encouraging. You know me, I'm the forever optimistic. I don't know if fall sports will look like it has in the past. There might be some challenges and major social distancing going on in terms of fans being allowed to attend games. But either way, we're moving in the direction for August 24th. That also tells me that we could possibly have some kind of Lions Club football game planned for the end of July each year. Keep your eyes and ears low to the ground on that one. If I find anything out, I will let you know. Would love to announce those players that were invited to play as soon as we get the rosters together. We're working on them for the North and for the South. We may also do something on that Big 30 game down there in Erie, PA. Dustin Green is putting together something right now for us to try and talk a little bit about the history of that game. That's mostly the southern tier schools from 6 and even 5, and then they go on and play teams from Pennsylvania, and then North-South game. Northern Pennsylvania, Southern New York State. That's how they do it. So we'll get some information on that and out to you. We want to thank Scory Financial for your sponsorship. We love you guys. Thank you very much. Plan, protect, invest. Go to scoryfinancial.com. UBMD Orthopedics. These are the heroes. You know they are. Thank you for being with us the last year. We really appreciate your advertising dollars. Hopefully we're doing a good job getting your name out there. And, of course, G&G Fitness Equipment right there on Transit Road near Maine. Our main man, Anthony, out there, he'll hook you up good. Anthony's, he's got it, whatever you need. What do you want to work out with? He's got it. We did a show there, Dick Gallagher and I, this past fall with Dan Gronkowski. So get over there to G&G Fitness. And schools, hey, if you want to build your gyms next year, give them that professional feel, call G&G Fitness. They will come out. They will design and put all that equipment in your gym to work with you. They're going to get your guys and your girls into the weight room, and they're going to get them all the stuff that they need to get their bodies ready for the season in which they want to play. Or if any kid wants to use the gym. Either way, G&G Fitness, thank you very much. Appreciate your guys' support. So, Rob Rozak, Ken West Hockey, he's my guest today. We're going to talk to him about the Western New York High School Hockey Showcase. It's coming up next winter. And Rob is on a committee, 3 other guys, Mike Turillo, Will East, John McFall from Hamburg, and Kevin Kirsch from Newport. And I'm sure Phil Prin's working on that too, as well as Finn. Whenever there's something hockey involved, Phil is always not too far away. So the teams participating in this high school hockey showcase in the winter from Section 6, West Seneca West, West Seneca East, Kenmore West, Wilt South, Starpoint, Newport, Hamburg, and Williamsville East. Those are the 8 representatives from Section 6. From Section 5, you've got Gates Chili, Canandaigua, Webster Thomas, Webster Schroeder, Penfield, Greece, Brighton, and Hilton. All 16 teams will be playing. It'll be a weekend Every team is guaranteed 2 games. There's tentative locations. The Northtown should take a chunk of those games, and then also West Seneca Town Rink. For sure that Friday night, the 2 West Seneca teams will play there, and also teams will be going out to Rochester to play as well. So they'll be playing here in 6 and also in 5. Why don't I bring that interview with Rob Rozek right now? We'll talk after a word from our sponsors.
We didn't get here by accident. It starts with a plan to protect your future, to invest in your future. It started with Scroy Financial. Plan, protect, invest.
Hey, welcome to Sportsline. This is Frank Wolf, WNY Athletics, and I'm joined by Robert Rozek, who is a teacher at Kenmore West, but you probably know him because he's also the head coach of the Kenmore West Blue Devils varsity hockey team. He runs the program. He's been there I believe you're entering your 8th season there?
This is my
as head coach?
6 seasons head coach.
Okay.
9 seasons overall.
Okay. All right. I was close. Rob, you've done a good job with the program, building numbers up, getting your team into the sectional finals, I believe at least 3 times now, is it?
We did it back
Twice?
in 2017.
Okay.
We've lost in the semifinals twice.
Okay, the semifinals, you've been there twice, and you got to the sectionals to win. Okay. And some very good players come through your program. But you recently got together with a few other ice hockey coaches to discuss a new venture. You guys are calling it the Western New York High School Hockey Showcase. There's a Twitter handle out there for it. It's at WNY_HS_showcase. And basically, Rob, it was a collection of thoughts between yourself, Kevin Kirsch from Newport, Mike Turillo from Williamsville East, and then John McFall from Hamburg.
Correct, yes.
You 4 guys were sitting around drinking coffee and said, you know what, we need to have a showcase here in Western New York. Why don't we reach out to Section 5 and see what we can drum up? And here you are. We're in the middle of this pandemic. We're not exactly sure what's going on for the fall. We know spring's been wiped out. This is a winter sport, so you got to believe everything will be back to normal by then. You hope anyways. So plans are moving forward. You've got 16 teams, including yours, registered. And how hard was it to talk with Section 5 about hosting this? And you're hosting it with them because it seems like some teams are going out to Rochester as well. Like everything won't necessarily be in Western New York.
Correct, yes. Last year, we had the teams were Ken West, Will South, Will East, Hamburg, and Newport. So it was 5 Western New York teams. And it wasn't just Section 5 teams last year. It was Webster Thomas, Canandaigua from Section 5. Potsdam came in, and Balance Spa came in from the other part of the state. So this year we decided, let's try Section 5 teams. And I played most of my non-league games have been against Section 5 teams for the last 4 years. So I have good relationships with some of the coaches. So I just reached out via email, and a lot of them thought it was a good idea because in this day and age, you don't want to travel if you don't have to. I know in Rochester, their athletic directors are not very open to them going outside of Buffalo and Syracuse. So for them, getting on the bus, going to Buffalo is an easy trip for them. So we also said, if you guys want to get ice in Rochester, some of us will be glad to come down and play in Rochester and make it easier on you guys, so you're not have to travel to Buffalo for 2 games. So it's kind of it's been a back and forth kind of thing, but all the coaches in both sections are really excited about this, and we can't wait for this to happen in December.
It's almost like a long time coming.
I think so. I think in terms of depth, Section 5 and Section 6 have definitely had the deepest sections in terms of teams. Section 3 and Section 1, they have good teams at the top, but sometimes the bottom isn't as good. So we feel for a non-league game, you want it to be a competitive game to get your team ready. for the league season. So playing Section 5 teams is a very good judge of where your team is at going to the games that matter. I said, like last year, I played four Section 5 teams last year, and they were all close games. So I mean, it's what you need to do to get your team ready for the regular season.
So the West Seneca West and West Seneca East teams are committed. Will South, Star Point, Newport, Hamburg, and Will East. And I believe you told me to kick things off on Friday night, both West Seneca teams will play home games at their town rink. Teams from Rochester, and it appears you could be heading up to Rochester for that first night of competition.
Correct. I'm going to Rochester on that Friday, and I think Hamburg, as of right now, is going to Rochester on that Friday. Then on Saturday, I think Will South and the West Senecas are all going out to Rochester.
Okay. There are, I mean, you know it, and I think we touched on it already. There's a number of teams will go down to play in the Pelham tournament each year, which is a good tournament. Having this in your backyard, though, will help those teams save money so that they can use it for other things, more practice time, what have you, maybe some equipment, cameramen, what have you, but not having to have that major expense of getting a bus, going down to New York City, New York area where the hotel prices are exorbitant. This is, I don't want to say this is getting off cheap, but this is being responsible. And you're playing top quality competition at the same time, pretty much in your backyard.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that's a nice tournament right down in Section 1. Again, I've heard teams that gone down there, all depends on who you play. It could be a game or could not be a game. But again, like you don't, from year to year, you don't know which teams are going to be good and which teams are going to be bad. You lose the kids. This is not professional sports where you can pick and choose the kids that are on your team. So this year, I may have a good team. Next year, I may not have a good team. It all depends on the kids that are playing for your school. So if you're going to spend the money to go somewhere, you want the best competition. Sometimes, I was talking to a coach that's been to that tournament. And he says, like, yeah, it's a nice tournament, but we were playing teams that were obviously better than us. If you go there and win 8-1, 7-2, what good is that for the team? You know what I mean?
We've seen a lot of scores come back that looked a little lopsided. And when you're trying to prepare your team for the season where you're going to face a high-powered West Seneca West team, you're going to face a great defensive team like Hamburg, you want to play those teams that you're going to be matched up again time and again during your regular season so that you can have a shot of – I mean, you're going to make the playoffs regardless, but you want to be battle-tested before you get to the playoffs. You don't want to start getting tested in the playoffs. It's too late.
Right. I mean, I think that the Section 6 small school playoffs is probably one of the most difficult out of any of the sports to get through to win the championship. There's so many good teams from top to bottom. You look at us this year, we had a good season. We're going to be a little lost here because of players we lost the previous year. We had a good season. We go in. We played Will East. It was a game that back and forth. Either team could have won in the first round. Then we go play Grand Island. Probably didn't think we had much of a chance with. They're returning section champions. A lot of players, but we played well. We end up winning the game, and you never know what's going to happen. The year that played West Seneca in the sectional final, I think that we were the 3 seed and they were like the 6 seed. So I don't know if I don't know about this year, but usually like the top seed, second seed, usually they don't meet in the finals all the time. Usually somebody gets bumped off before the finals. I don't know. If I think maybe Star Point and Will South were 1 and 2, but usually that's not the case. You don't see the top 2 seeds always in the finals. So you're saying like you play these non-league games in order to get yourself ready to play these tough games in January, February.
I want to get your thoughts on this. I know the Blue Devils weren't a part of the state championships. To you as a hockey fan and as a coach, and are you also a part of the section committee to some extent?
Yeah, Mark DiFilippo asked me to help him, so I do whatever he needs to help with in terms of like getting teams on the ice and stuff like that. You know, I'm just more like the day of game day protocol kind of stuff guy.
Yeah, but how difficult was it for you as a coach, number one, and a fan, to know that things ended up having to cancel the way they did? I mean, literally 48 hours before teams were about to hit the ice, they called it, postponed it.
We were talking, like, as a coaching staff, we were talking, like, after this all came down, it was like we were lucky that we finished our season. You know what I mean? Like, we got done with the sectionals. You know, I feel bad for those kids. I feel bad for all the kids, even the spring kids. You know, it's tough because some of these kids, this is what their biggest motivation is going to school is to play sports and to keep their grades up. You know, and I'm a firm believer that, you know, the welfare of society is more important than sports in general. You know, I just hope that they could have got that weekend in some way, you know, in a limited amount of people in the arena and stuff. But, you know, the call's made at the state level. It's not made at the local level. But, you know, I feel bad for some of the teams. I forget which one it was, like the first time they ever made it to the Final Four. You know, so you feel bad, like, okay, you're a public school, you know, you lose a bunch of seniors. There's no guarantee you're going to be back there.
No.
So I feel bad for all the kids in terms of not being able to come to a conclusion to their season, you know, especially, I mean, the spring kids never got started, you know, and so I feel bad that they didn't get started, but the winter kids never came to a conclusion to their season. It all just ended, just abruptly ended, and we're done.
Yeah. Well, Rob, this is your first Zoom meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's once I got the technology down, it actually worked pretty nice. So you know, in the future we'll be doing this with the kids, you know, as a way to, you know, the toughest thing is being on this home school kind of thing is not seeing the kids on a day-to-day basis. That's the biggest issue I've been having with it, is just not seeing the kids, you know. And yesterday we went out and we put signs on some of the kids graduating seniors front lawns yesterday, and I went and to my kids, to my 5 seniors' houses and stuff, and, you know, just to check in and see how they were doing and stuff. And they all seem to be doing fine, you know. You know, they're just a little antsy like the rest of us, but they also understand why we have to do this. But, you know, that's the biggest thing. We didn't get to have a team banquet, you know, because our banquet was supposed to be the week after we went into this, so that got canceled. And, you know, the hope is that, you know, we have open skates in end of July, August. Hopefully at that point things will be open up enough so we can have that in some sort of fashion. I don't know what the limitations are going to be at that point, but, you know, we'll try to get something in for the kids. You know, I think adults can deal with this. I think kids are the ones that don't understand all of it, and hopefully they are getting through this as best as they can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you and Tom have done a great job the last couple of weeks of getting these kids out there and telling their stories, and I think it's good for them. I think it kind of gives closure to some of them. You know, I know I saw the Zach Boys one. You know, I mean, kid's a great athlete. You know, he didn't get to finish it. I mean, they're just defending sectional baseball champions, and they didn't get a chance to go back out there. And all of a sudden, your high school career is done. You know, and speak to all the kids. You know, it's like it's just a tough situation, but we're dealing with it the best we can, I guess, Frank.
They'll be better for it eventually down the road. I mean, if this didn't break them, I mean, just imagine how tough these kids are going to be, you know, 5, 10 years, 20 years down the road when when life really throws them curveballs.
They,
They'll get over this.
they may not want to hear it, but I feel like saying to some of them, if this is the toughest thing you have to deal with in your life, then you're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
You know? But
absolutely.
again, they're 16, 17 years old, and
They don't. Life ends Friday night, man. Life, you know what I mean? They don't see past Friday night.
exactly, Frank.
We were
But
there.
again, thank you. You guys have done a wonderful job of getting coaches out there. I think it's great. You guys have been doing this, and thank you for all the retweets for the showcase. We're just trying to get the word out there to people, try to make it a big event for people to come out. I think you guys have done a great job of advertising high school hockey in Western New York, and some of the other media outlets are kind of following, realizing what you're going behind you guys and following up on stuff. So, thank you again, Frank, for all you guys do. It's a wonderful thing you guys do for just not hockey, but all Western New York.
Well, we'll be behind you guys in this new this new tournament, this new invitational. We're excited for you guys, and it's just another opportunity for us to get out there and show and showcase what you guys are doing. There's a lot of hard work. Getting on the ice and playing the games, that's the easy part. Everything else that goes into it, that's work.
I don't mind doing this stuff. All it takes is some emails and some phone calls, and the hardest part is really kind of just securing the ice, because right now a lot of the rinks aren't open because of they're shut down because of furloughs. But we didn't have problems last year getting ice at Northtown Center, so I don't see it being a humongous problem. And I just hope it's a great weekend and people come out to watch. And again, I think sometimes in Western New York, high school hockey gets put a back seat to some of these parents by travel. But if some of these kids who play travel full time and don't play for the high school came and watched a high school game, especially like our game against Will South, it was like in the middle of the day, and kids came from school. They went to the game. They were allowed, and that's what kids play. So you play sports for your friends, to see your friends cheer you on. And sometimes in travel, you're playing in front of mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, and it's not the same. I remember as a kid, the most exciting part was watching the kids on cheering on the team as we played, be it soccer or hockey for me. That's high school sports, And again, something like this is I think we have some very quality teams that I think the matchups are going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. We're going to make the matchups as competitive as possible. The one big matchup I think I'll put out there now, we're going to see Star Points, Webster Thomas. I think we want to see both sectional champions play each other.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be one of the big games that we're going to have that weekend. And I'm excited about it. All the coaches I talked to are excited about it. It's a good start. And, next year, maybe we expand a couple more teams. The only limitation you really have is ice time at this point.
Absolutely. But we'll get the details worked out soon enough. And,
all right, Frank.
Definitely.
WNYathletics.com is the premier high school sports website in Western New York, providing the best sports coverage of Section 6 and Monsignor Martin leagues. Check out our page for daily game recaps and late-breaking sports news. Our online scoreboards are updated in real time. Never miss a goal or touchdown. Visit WNYathletics.com today or follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube.
Okay, so we just heard from Rob Rozak, the Ken West head coach of the varsity hockey program there, and he explained to us what's going on with the showcase coming up next winter. Way to go, Rob, and all those guys involved with putting that together. That's a lot of work, and I can't wait. I'm excited to work with those guys as well, making sure that gets the coverage it needs. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now, can we do something like that for the girls? Can we get a girls showcase here in Western New York similar to what they're doing? So maybe I'll have to put a call out to my man, Bill Pavone, and see if, I know he's talking about retiring, stepping away, but Bill, you know you're not stepping away. You know you can't retire. You're going to be involved somehow, someway. So let's see if we can't talk to Bill and maybe talk to some other coaches from around Western New York and beyond and see if we can't get some type of girls hockey showcase going as well. Congrats to Nate Oliver. Nate Oliver was named GM of the Buffalo Beauts recently. Nate, he's always around the girls hockey game in some form or fashion. So congrats to Nate. That's really cool. An Amherst native, Will South guy. And he's a GM of a professional hockey team. It's the Buffalo Beauts. So congrats to him. And Dwayne Vass, Canisius College, committing to a JUCO school, Iowa Western. Got a couple of D2 offers we learned, but Dwayne is taking his game out to Iowa Western, 2-year program. And I believe what I read from Miguel Rodriguez's article today in the Buffalo News was this school has sent 20 D1 players, graduates, has sent 20 of their players onto D1 scholarships. So that's awesome. Dwayne is one hell of a player. One hell of a basketball player. And he's going to do a little bit of gambling, I guess, by going JUCO route. We'll have to wait and see. But, that's what winners do. That's what winners do. They always gamble on themselves. So I'm happy for Dwayne, happy for Canisius, and we'll have to keep our eye on him and see what goes on out there. I think they're called the Reverse. Is that what they're called? Reading on his, I don't know, Reverse or something like that they're called. Anyways, good luck to Dwayne. Not sure who's going to be my guest tomorrow for Wednesday the 13th. It's going to be a surprise. I would love to have another interactive show with you to answer your questions live on the air. Send me your questions. Send me show ideas, topics, and who you want to hear from. I'm trying to focus on senior athletes or coaches and administrators. Officials, too. Always in a call for official. Actually, our water guy, the guy who comes in and drops off the jugs of water, loves what we do with WNY Athletics, and he said, hey, one of your shows you mentioned something about officiating. How can I get involved with officiating? I hooked him up with, who did I hook him up with? John Godfrey. And John and him are talking, and this kid is on his way to maybe learn the ropes and becoming an official. So that's cool. But anyways, for the WNY Athletics crew that put this show together, who's my outfitter? Someone said I need to put credits at the end of the show. Who's producing, so you get to know who's doing the camera guy, and then my outfitter. My outfitter is my wife. She still picks all the clothes up for me every day because if not, I'd walk out of the house looking like a bum. So thanks to her. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much for watching Sportsline.